Hi, welcome to Ask the Organizer. I am your host, Jen Van Buskirk, and what we are going to do is I'm going to answer your questions that you sent to me either by email, through Facebook, or questions that you asked to me in person, and I'm going to do my best to answer them for you, and we're going to do this every week. And this is just going to give you an opportunity to get a little bit of guidance on some of the things that are holding you back and give you motivation to make some massive progress over the weekend. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so our first question. Dear Jen, I have a paper problem. I keep everything except the junk mail, and sometimes even that piles up. A few times I've been able to produce a receipt or some other document that has really saved us some money. This fuels my need to keep things, but it's just too much, and it really gets on my husband's nerves. Do I need to keep old bills that are paid, receipts for things that we have purchased, and tax returns? If I should keep some of these things, how far back should I keep them? Thanks. All right, this is a really great question. Paper is a huge problem for a lot of my clients, and the first thing that I will say is, if at all possible with your bills, go paperless. That's going to be a high leverage thing that you can do that's going to make your life way easier. First of all, you're not going to end up with all this extra paper in your home, but also you're not actually going to have to touch that paper as soon as it comes out of the mailbox, bring it into the home, look at it, consider it, think about whether you want to get rid of it. So that's one of the first things that you can do. So with anything like recurring bills, AT&T, like your phone bill, electricity, water, things like that, you should have an option to go paperless with that and be able to go online and set that up. If that makes you a little bit uncomfortable being paperless, and that has for me just maybe with some certain bills, when I go on and make it paperless, I set a notification to get an email with what that bill is for that month, so that I can keep an eye on making sure that it hasn't just magically doubled out of nowhere. And so I feel like I'm getting that, being able to keep tabs on it without having to actually get that paper into my home. So the next thing that you can do is, when you get that bill, if it's recurring, just toss it. You don't need it. You can go online and look at the account. You have access to all that information. And if you can't find it on your online account, which you can go into your bank account or you can give them a call. So you have all these different ways that you can double check on what's happening in that account. You do not need to hold on to those bills. So what I would do and what I do is I've written down the account number, the username, and the password for that account. So I always have access to it. So if I need to log on, it's really easy to do. So that case, I don't need to hold on to the bill for that account number. The next thing that I would say is, so if you have certain receipts, or say it's a bill for a one-off project that you did on the home where you're not going to be able to do like an online account and things like that, just take a photo of it. Once you take a photo of it, then you can get rid of it. In our home, we use Dropbox, and it works really well. We don't hold on to any receipts, so we just take a picture of it immediately and then we toss it. If you use Dropbox, they do have a scan and photo app or functionality within the app, so that you can just take the picture, and it's super easy, and it gives you an option to name it and then throw it into a folder. So if you want to put it into a folder that says 2018 receipts, or you want it to say receipts for XYZ home, things like that, you have all of those options, and it's super easy to do. And then the last thing, so you asked about tax documents. So the first thing I'll say is that how long you hold on to your tax documents depends on a couple different things, how you're filing, if things are still pending and whatnot, but it's approximately 3 to 7 years. So let's just assume 7 years just for the sake of this question. So you have 7 years of tax documents that you've held on to. So anything older than that, and I want you to double check with your tax professional to confirm this, but anything later than that, then just you can get rid of those tax documents, so you have the last 7 years. Now for anything going into the future, I want you to do what we talked about as far as taking photos of all your receipts. So say you have something that for deductions, say your Goodwill receipts, or you had any other types of donations, you want to take photos of those, take photos of every single tax document that you're getting for this upcoming tax year. And then you're going to collect all those together, and you're also so you're going to collect the everything digitally within Dropbox or whatever your cloud app is, but then you're also going to hold on to the actual paperwork, and that paperwork is what you submit for your taxes of that year. But once you do that, you're not going to need to hold on to all those receipts. You've submitted your taxes, you've finished out your tax return, you have your what the tax professional gives you, but then you don't need to hold on to all those receipts because you already have a digital copy saved of all of that. So that's going to save you a ton of space over time, and it's also going to give you peace of mind, which I think is probably the biggest question of like why you want to hold on to so many things, is because you just want the peace of mind to be able to retrieve it if you need. But if you're taking photos of it and there's still just a teeny chance that you might even have to refer to it anyway, this is going to give you that peace of mind that you need, and you're going to be able to significantly pare down how much paperwork you actually have. I hope that answers your question. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know, and let's move on to the next question. All right, for the next question. Hi Jen, I know I have too much stuff in my home. It's been building up for months now, and it leads to ongoing arguments with my husband. We both agree that we need to declutter and pare down, but we are so busy with work, kids, and social life. I've gone so far as to write out a decluttering schedule, room by room, where we'll declutter one room per week. We did this for our kitchen and master closet, and the difference is incredible. But now we've lost momentum again, and we're several weeks behind. We know it's good for us, we want to do it, but we just don't seem to prioritize it. Can you give any advice that can help me stay on track? All right, well, the first thing I would say is that you said that we don't seem to prioritize it, but you did prioritize it. You did get through a couple spaces and you were really happy with the results. So I want you to focus on that and know that you were able to do it successfully. Something that can happen after you see a little bit of success is that it starts to, like the pain of it starts to go away a little bit, and that's why that can happen, where you start to fall off of the good work that you're doing. So something to do to get back on track is, first of all, you set out this goal, you've gone room by room of like a plan of what to do. I want you to make this plan visible. So you could try putting this printout sheet of what you've created up on like the refrigerator. I know I like to put things up in the bathroom mirror because I'm going to see that every single day, and it kind of stares you right when you're like brushing your teeth and washing your face. So put it up there for both you and your husband to see, so you know this week is for the laundry room, and so you're not going to forget about that. It's going to be staring you right in the face. Something else that you definitely want to do to make sure this happens is time blocking. So whatever your schedule looks like, if you need 30 minutes to do this decluttering, when of your whole week can you and your husband find 30 minutes to do this decluttering? So block that off, put it on your calendar, and set yourself a reminder so that you're not going to forget. Also, what you can do is split the work with your husband. So maybe you want to do the laundry room and he needs to do the mud room or something like that. So instead of having to coordinate both of your schedules at the same time, or him not having the time when you planned and stuff like that, just say you're doing this space, he's doing this space, and your goal is to have it done by the end of this week. And that way you're going to be able to get even more done, and you're not going to hold each other back in that way because of your busy schedules. And then finally, I love to give myself an incentive when I'm trying to set a goal for myself. I know that that's something that just keeps me motivated, and I'm always thinking about that incentive. So it's going to make me want to finish the project that much more. So I prefer to encourage incentives that are like consumables or not an actual item, so we're not bringing extra clutter into our home. So maybe that incentive could be that you're going to go on a special date night or out to dinner with each other if you finish a certain amount of rooms, or maybe just finish one room. Something else is maybe you've been wanting to do a project on your home for a while, and you really want to get some of this clutter under control before you do it. So you could really use that as an incentive as well. So those are some great ideas to get you started, and but I will circle right back around and ask you just to focus on what you have already done and use that as a jumping off point for what you're going to do coming up. All right, we're on to question number 3. Dear Jen, I have 2 kids aged 3 and 5. My husband and I have talked about having a 3rd child, but honestly we're not sure whether we will or not. It's kind of in limbo. In the meantime, I've kept all the baby clothes and maternity clothes for both my children, a boy and a girl, in case we need to use it all again for our possible future child. The problem is that the volume of stuff has gotten out of control, and it's not just the clothes, it's the toys, books, cribs, and a ton of other stuff. We have an entire bedroom in our home that's basically a storage space for all things baby related. Is this crazy, or am I being smart by planning ahead? I would love to turn that bedroom into a little yoga space, but I can't bear to let go all of the baby stuff because I feel like that would mean I'm saying we won't ever have another child. What do you think I should do? That is a really great question, especially related to holding on to stuff for possible future use and being unsure whether you need it or not. Can really get out of control in how many places that's showing up in your home. So, but I want to start off by saying that you're not crazy. You've invested a lot of money into these things for your kids, and if you are going to have another kid, these are some things that you might want to hold on to. So don't feel like you're crazy, but there are some things that we can do to help give you that yoga space and get you more functionality out of that bedroom rather than it just being a storage space. So one thing I would say is that you just need to get real with yourself about what is in this room. So there's all the kids related stuff, which is probably clothes, furniture, toys, you mentioned books, things like that. What else is in the room as well? Are there other things from what the room used to be? Maybe it was a guest room before, maybe it was an office. And looking at everything that's in that room and seeing where's the opportunity for what you can get rid of or start to pare down a little bit so that we can make more space. So for the moment, don't think about where stuff's gonna go, just think about what is in this room and what do you actually need in your life. So looking at some of the kids' stuff, you know, I know I'm experiencing this. I have a 3-month-old, and there's things that I got through, you know, the registry or people gifted me that I thought I needed, but in honesty, it's not working, or he doesn't like it, or I just don't prefer it. And these are things that I have, but I don't necessarily need. So what are you holding on to for this future child that maybe you're not actually going to use when it comes down to it? You know, with the crib, are you going to actually use that crib if you have another kid, or do you think that you're going to want something different because you have changed the theme of your home over time? Or do you have certain clothes that are just completely worn out, or they're kind of gross, or you know, you didn't like them because they had the snaps, or you didn't like the zipper, things like that. So I want you to go through everything baby related and ask yourself, am I actually going to use this with the potential third child? If not, it's a great opportunity to donate that and start to pare down the volume of the stuff that you have. Even if you're getting rid of 10% of what you have, it's going to start making significant improvement in that room. And you know, see how you know, aggressive you can be about it. And I think you're going to see really positive results from that. But that's just the baby stuff. So what else is in there? Do you have a lot of papers? Do you have random books? I know I see a lot of like books from like college years, things like that. Has memorabilia made it into this room? And go through all of those items as well. And once you've done that, see how much of it you've let go of, and then let's start figuring out where some things can start going, okay? The last thing that I wanted to say about that is figuring out where these things can go. For example, maybe you have a bed in there. How have you utilized the underbed storage? Is there a closet? Can we use some of the space up at the top shelf to put some things like the baby clothes or blankets, things like that? If it's toys, books, can that go into a playroom or another space in your home? Once again, up on like a high shelf or somewhere that's kind of out of the way because you don't need to access it all the time. So first thing is decluttering, but then after that, after everything's been categorized, figuring out where are some other places that those items can go so that you can start making space for the functionality of this room that you really want to have. All right, that's it. We are done with the first episode of Ask the Organizer, and I hope you found that super helpful, and we will be back next week with more questions, and I look forward to seeing you there.